Hey guys, it's Coach Ian here, helping you run further, faster, and more focused. And this week we're going to talk about junk miles, find out if you're throwing your workouts to the curb, so stick around, we're going to get into it. So what are we talking about when we're referring to junk miles? Well, junk miles are when you run your easy pace or your long runs at an intensity that is too hard and too fast, and ultimately you sabotage the benefits from those workouts. The number one thing you need to be thinking about before any run or any workout is ask yourself the question, what is the purpose of this run? What am I training? What am I trying to develop? It's not always about trying to go faster, quicker, further in your workouts. It's about really maximizing the intended training benefit. So when you're running at an easy pace for a long run, for example, or at any sort of easy intensity workout, you should be in that 60 to 75% effort range. It should be a very comfortable pace to run at. And it's important to understand what we're getting out of that workout to understand how that can ultimately help you run faster and where does that junk mileage come in. So the intention of that is to obviously train our aerobic systems. And what we're getting out of that is we're helping our body become more efficient at spending that energy across our muscles, allowing you to build capillaries, mitochondria, help your aerobic system get stronger, and ultimately allow you to cover longer distances without as much effort. For the marathon, for example, you're going to be using 95% of your aerobic energy system to get that distance covered. So you're not using your anaerobic system very much in distance running. So it's important that you spend a lot of time in your training working on your aerobic development. So where the junk mileage comes in is there's a point, and I'll refer to it in the links below. I actually shot a video not that long ago called your anaerobic threshold, and understanding that point at which you flip over from training your aerobic capacity to your anaerobic. And there's a point where that happens in your body where you're no longer producing enough oxygen. You don't have enough oxygen to deal with the demands that are going on in your body. And that threshold is called your anaerobic threshold. And what happens is when you're running your easy runs too quickly, you start to move up to that point where you're really kind of getting into that place where you're maybe flipping over to anaerobic, you're maybe just on the cusp of that, maybe sometimes you're back and forth. So what happens is you're not getting the full aerobic benefit of that workout, and you're not really training your anaerobic system either. And the whole point is to develop that aerobic capacity in an easy run. So what happens is you spend a good chunk of time in that no man's land, which is ultimately junk mileage, because you're not getting really full benefit out of the workout. And so that's very dangerous, because if you do that over and over and over again, that's really going to sabotage your training over the long haul. And I see that happen from a lot of runners, and I've been guilty of that myself, where you go out for an easy run and maybe your pace should be at a certain speed, and you end up sort of going too fast because you're just feeling great and you want to let it go. And as a runner, we all know how good it feels to go let the legs out. But if you're doing that on a regular basis and really pushing beyond that easy pace, that's a dangerous place to be. And I know a lot of athletes that I coach sometimes will say, man, those easy paces feel too easy. And that's really the point. You want to spend a lot of time working at those easy paces to develop your aerobic capacity, because ultimately when it comes to race time, you're going to be faster, you're going to be stronger, you're going to have a way more efficient aerobic system that's going to fuel you forward. So how do you know if you're going too fast? Well, it's really important. If you're working with a running coach, you should have a good pace range that can help you understand where that should be. That might be paces, that might be a heart rate. There's ways you can really sort of dial in what intensity you should be running at when it comes to easy runs so that you're not going too fast. Or a great way to do it is just think about being at a conversational pace, where if you're running with a partner, for example, or imaginary real partner, you'd be able to have a conversation, not maybe tell your whole life story, but get a couple brief sentences out. And that's a really good gauge of, are you running at an easy enough pace to really get the full value and benefit and the intended purpose out of an easy paced run. So think about that as you're training. Don't think that running fast every time is the goal, and don't really think that you have to keep pushing. There's time for that. That's when the races come. That's when you want to really push yourself. There's also opportunities through speed workouts, interval training, tempo runs, things like that, where we're taxing the anaerobic systems and really working on our strength and power and stride efficiency. Don't let your easy runs turn into junk miles, guys. So that's your tip of the week. I hope that helps. If you have any questions, send me a comment below. Please like and subscribe. We're going to really appreciate that. We hope that we can track with you and share this as much as possible. We're going to send you a video every single week. So thanks for the support. Get out there, get running, and we'll talk to you next week.